You don't get to run. You do get to call for help, though. I can't really stop that. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hi there. This is Cole, here with more Hexcrank Live, and also losing my voice. One moment. Okay, maybe a little bit better. Yeah, I'm here with a new game, Penumbra Overture. Yeah, there we are. Hi, Theodore M. Fox and the Tarot Files. Yeah, we recently covered Penumbra Overture on Watch Out for Fireballs. Normally that puts a moratorium on playing stuff on here. Here in Hexcrank Live, like to keep the things separate. However, I want to play Penumbra Black Plague and Requiem. I liked Penumbra Overture so much that I'm going to stream this, and then probably next weekend start up with Black Plague. Theodore M. Fox asks, "Is this going to be scary?" Yeah, probably. It depends, and everything is. Everything is subjective. So let's get started. The Tarot File says, "Got prize for first person to know that the P is silent." Well, you don't say pterodactyl. Come on. My story began in February, year 2000. This is a game by Frictional. The people who did...
my part of this allegory, I'm not going to make the same mistakes my father made. Howard vanished from my mother's life before I was even in it, so when he sent me a letter a few days after Mum's funeral, it was the first I'd ever heard from him. Pity he was dead. Writing from beyond the grave must be a genetic habit in my bloodline. His letter contained a key, instructions, pleas for forgiveness. I figured the dead don't have much use for absolution, so I turned to his prophetic passing, which he inexplicably expected to come any day. Clearly averse to explanations, my father preferred to leave directions to a bank on Mayfair I'd never even heard of. In that bank was a safety deposit box in his name, and myself as executor. Of course, I went, as he knew I would. I discovered that despite the evidence, he'd been legally declared dead almost 30 years ago, and so the old book and collection of notes I found had, in the eyes of the law, been mine all this time. My father's instructions were to burn the documents, raise no further questions. But that was his error. No man's immune to the shameful trappings of curiosity, and my humanity got the better of me. The university I taught at was world renowned for two things: physics and linguistics. I represented the first, and the man who stood for the second was stumped by my recent acquisition. The book was indecipherable. The notes, however, showed a location somewhere in uninhabited northern Greenland. It took me almost a year to book the last flight I'd ever take. As I watched civilization disappear along with Heathrow, I realised my father had disappeared 3 decades ago, almost to the day, and I considered in turn what it was that I was leaving behind. We landed on a strip of ice a few feet wide, and within minutes I was pulling away on a chartered boat, beginning the 12-hour journey that would lead me into my past.
There we go. Finally, we're almost docked. I'd better stow my gear. I may be far from home, but chances are I can still pick things up using left mouse and can take a closer look at things using right mouse. That map is a decade or so out of date. Hey there, Zach. So this game is by Frictional, the people who made Amnesia and Soma, and you can tell that pretty much right away by looking. Pretty odorous. Glad I'm getting out of here soon. They must eat and sleep and, well, do everything in this one room for weeks at a time. Ick. So this game is a lot more physics-based than Amnesia is. Hey, thank you for following, Terraphiles. Okay, I've got my notebook for my reminders and such. Let's see. Dearest Eric, just a quick note before you set sail and leave me once again. I've left you a little something to remember me by, in the chest at the foot of your bed. I really don't know why you still only have one bed on board. Taking shifts because of it is no way to get your rest. But what does a fisherman's wife know of a life at sea? I'll be praying every night for you to make the catch you need so that you can come home to me safely and soon. Please don't be gone for 5 weeks, etc. Before I forget, the Henriksons in the village have asked me to see if you'll be coming by any trout. Blah blah, very mundane. Hey there, Eric. Yo, Ben, what it is? I think that's everything. Here we go, out of the prologue. As I stepped off the boat, setting out into the blizzard that had formed around me, I realized how utterly devoted I'd been to the discovery of my father's past. I had no idea what to expect. Soon enough, my concerns were justified. I don't know whether I lost my orientation or my spirit first, but I lost feeling in my extremities soon after, and knew hypothermia was setting in. I started looking for shelter. So cold, don't know where I am, need shelter soon. So yeah, if I stay out here too long, then I will die. Everything is numb, including my eyes. What in the hell? There's a patch in the ice. And it is completely iced over. It's physics times, friends. Ben asks, do I have any cat updates? I am waiting for my cat things to arrive. And I might be going to get her on my birthday. Oh, interact mode. There we are. Let's go indoors. Things are going to be far more comfortable and inviting down there, I know it. Hi, Deepool. I fell that far and survived. I can't believe it. Or maybe I didn't. Rather die down here than suffer in that cold any longer. So yeah, we are trapped. Trapped in what appears... Oh, thank you, Josh. Trapped in what appears to be some sort of military depot. Yeah, so the cat that I'm thinking of getting, she is a young gray cat with extremely pretty eyes. Her name is Greta. She came from a family, so I'm rescuing. She came from a family, and she was handed over because a dog bit her on her butt. Let's see. I can swing the hammer if I hold left mouse, so that's my weapon. Yeah, a dog bit her on her butt, which is sad. It is good that she survived. She had to have surgery to, close up the wounds, right? And if you're gonna find humor in the tragedy, then that humor will be that she looks like an elegant, pretty lady from the front, but on the back she's got racing stripes shaved into her. Okay. So the obvious way forward is blocked. Yeah, this is like it's a physics tutorial. Yeah, something that's weird about this game is the combat is roughly physics-based. And that's right, you just heard me say combat. So that's what we're dealing with. What is that sound? No wonder I couldn't open the door. The barrel was in front of it. Oh. I guess there's no sense in going back up there and seeing what it is. Theodore and Fox is right. Fox is right. It's a tiny hammer. That's what they use to make sure the Pope's dead. Deeper we go. Whatever I was descending into, it was 100 feet below the ground, protected by two solid metal hatches located in a remote Arctic wilderness and buried beneath the snow. I didn't know what to expect, but it made me feel something I hadn't felt since I was a child. I'd never given it much thought before, but I realized that our entire society is a network of safety nets, emergency services at the end of a phone line, health and safety in the workplace, friends, family, lovers, all there if something goes wrong. Part of a carefully designed structure to prevent all but the most mundane of emotions. Once again, I felt like I did when I was in school, surrounded by a closing ring of older kids, knowing anyone that might help me, friends, parents, and teachers, were too scared or too far away. Okay, so here we are, deeper into the depot. There could be anything living down here. Heroics are for Hollywood actors and fairy tales. I'm not taking any chances. If I face off against anything down here, I won't last a second. Caution and stealth are my only defenses now. If anyone or anything hears me, I'd be best off staying low and out of sight until I know whether or not it's a threat. Crouching, pressing left control will give me the chance to hide in the shadows. I know I've got it right, because of the blue tint in my vision. That seems like a medical issue. Plus, I should be quiet enough that I won't be heard unless something's right on top of me. Better remember to shut off any light sources, though. So yeah, there is no doggo out yet. There's also no real mapping system, so we've got to work off of these. Let's go to the office. See if there's anybody we can complain to. What have we here? Beef jerky. Very, very fragrant beef jerky. Something that's very fun about the game is that the entire staff that works in this compound or worked in this compound, they're all dipshits. And we're going to find that out here real soon. And they just left their jerky laying everywhere. Come on, fellas, that stuff's expensive. Okay, I need to get into that chest, so... The whole room is putrefying. Something is making everything go icky. Alright, so we have a handful of things here. We've got some Baxtrin. And we have an officer's log. Okay, 1945, so about 55 years ago, as of the time this game is set. Weekly report from Airstrip Zulu. Another unremarkable week in Greenland. A regular supply shipment received. Routine runway maintenance complete. Etc. The one wounded figure is no cause for concern back in London. The Germans haven't extended their front lines by 4,000 miles. 2 of my men were caught manufacturing cherry bombs in our workshop/armory and succeeding in blowing off a couple of fingers. I take partial responsibility for this in that I allowed them access to the demolitions manual that we keep in the storeroom, and I'm sure that's where they learned the ingredients. As a precautionary measure, I have now locked up that manual in the chest in my office and will keep the key on my person at all times. Needless to say, both men have been disciplined. Come on, losing 2 fingers, isn't that punishment enough? Come on. And the injured man has been sent home for medical care. I cannot help but think that a more suitable punishment would have been for him to stay out here, but the matter is out of my hands. The base is so disconnected sometimes. I feel as if this war could end and we might not even hear about it out there. So they've asked for some supplies. They've got some bayonets that they need out of procedure. Again, the Germans are 4,000 miles away. Okay, they need an ice pick for removing the damn ice that forms on the external hatch. Make do. What's with this government waste? Just use a rock. And they need some reading glasses. There was time now. Okay, there's a mine below. There's potential bomb damage down there. One point of curiosity is some kind of archaeological find, an artifact buried in the earth and discovered by one of the work teams. Later this evening, after marshal duty, I shall take a closer look at the artifact. It appears to be man-made and may have working parts inside. I shall remove what looks like the front cover and see if I can't discover the source of the light which constantly emanates from it. It's unclear if he is talking about this, which is important. A man, an old man clutching something unseen. He is strange, and yet he is no stranger. Never seen before, still I know. This man before me is Howard. I call him Father. What the hell just happened? Don't know if that was such a good idea. Yeah, that bad boy sucks your memories in. That's how you save your game. Ben says the gameplay in this looks unique, if not clunky. Yeah, that's apt. It's pretty clunky. The combat, as we're going to see here when I leave this room, is pretty regrettable if I decide to engage in the combat. So. Okay, let's see what's going on over in storage. Cool stuff, I assure you. So we're gonna meet our first dog here. There's something wrong with this dog. Hey there, Andrew. I don't know who Wrong Dog is, but he has not appeared. I guess I haven't triggered his release yet. I have not released the Wrong Dog. I am drinking a delicious Great Lakes Blackout Stout, named in honor of the 2003 Cleveland Blackout. I hear skittering, chittering, and fretting behind that door. Alright, there are diagrams here. I don't know what that means, but this is a hint. Square with circles minus circles equals box with arrows and ladder. Good. Then we also have lighter plus fuel equals smiley face. And spiders equal aww. It was different, but the same that time. Like I had more control. But over what? Yeah, this box won't move as easily with these rocks inside of it. Physics! I should try and get a hold of the original demo for this and shore up one of these shorter sessions with it. I wonder if that runs on Windows 10. Shittering sound. So I'm in the perfectly natural tunnels under these floor joists. Good. Oh, spider web, that must be nothing. Uh-oh. A horrible sight. Luckily it's mummified, or else the smell would have been awful. What have we here? Dry, dusty old bags, like he was trying to block up an opening. Let's see here. I love this note. Day 1. I begin this record still in the hope that the great work we have undertaken here might one day be of scientific value. despite the chaos which has ensued in the 6 hours previous. My aim is to remain secure until what help there may be arrives, and to that end I have barricaded myself into a small workshop area in the abandoned part of the mine. I hope that the meager food rations here will keep me alive, and that those I hide from will not jeopardize that. Perhaps this mine really is cursed. It's almost precisely 30 years since the incident that brought us here, and now, 30 years on, fate has struck again. Day 3. I forecasted that today the rescue crews would arrive, but I can only hypothesize that they would be unaware of my location, and hence busy themselves evacuating the other survivors. If they have not arrived by tomorrow, I will go out in search of them. Day 6. My first mistake was to make assumptions on the matter of rescue. My second mistake was to make assumptions on the safety of this mine. My third mistake was to act on both these assumptions in going outside of my safe haven. My best estimate is that I left the workshop where I was secured about 2 days ago in search of aid, and I have found only danger. I approached the old living quarters, but curiously, could find no sign of life whatsoever. I returned in what I thought was the direction from which I had come, but soon found myself in an unfamiliar locale. Confused but focused, I attempted to make my way home, but found myself threatened by some species of feral creature, which seems to have made this old mine its home. Although the specimen bore significant interest to me, I chose to retreat, only to find myself outmaneuvered and outnumbered by the beasts. I turned and ran, injuring my ankle in the process, which I believe now is most likely a sprain rather than a fracture. For some time I cowered and fled into the dark, but a few hours ago I discovered a door leading to a smaller, disused part of the mine, the key for which I still have in my pocket. Within that area, sorry, let me see here. I lost my place. My window is very small on the screen to make sure I can stream this. Within that area, I discovered this storeroom, and I think it should keep me safe for some time. This place is a maze. My lesson learnt. I will not venture out again until I am certain the area is safe. Day 19. Rescue seems increasingly unrealistic. Supplies diminishing. Lots of spiders in this place. I do not like spiders. Eric says, I would not be reading all of this in Spiderville. Well, I gotta have the sound effects. The sound effects provide a good ambience. Day 34, so over a month in. I caught one of the accursed 8-legged beasts nestling in my open mouth when I woke up this morning. In my surprise, I swallowed it. It's not so much the act of swallowing which concerns me, but the genus of arachnid. It would be unlikely that a cave-dwelling spider would be venomous to any significant degree, but the possibility troubles me all the same. Day 35. Any known venom would have affected me by now, and so today, in the first minor cause for celebration I have had since the incident. By lucky coincidence, this revelation also means I have discovered a virtually inexhaustible supply of nutrition. I intend to venture into the basement beneath this storeroom, in the name of science, to discover more about these creatures' natural habitat. Day 50. For 4 days now, I have been surviving solely off the quite considerable sustenance provided by the spiders. For some time I was struggling to gather enough of the crunchy little morsels. However, Lady Luck smiled on me once more when the batteries in my torch died, and I made a second life-saving finding. The creature's natural habitat is the dark. With my light now diminished, I need only lie still for a few minutes and I will have attracted enough of the beasts for a rather hearty meal. We're going to learn more about the original Spider-Man here in a little bit. Ah. Okay, there's a battery. There's some kind of wheel. And lighter fluid gas, so this is good. Yeah, so one thing I'm trying to do here, I need to manufacture an explosive to get deeper into the mine. So making a lighter is a good thing. I should have just ventured up there and showed you what I was trying to do as opposed to just following my nose. Ooh, more of these. Is that an... It's a big old eggshell. A new note. Day 71. My earlier assumptions on the benign nature of my cellmates may have been made in error. After a careful autopsy, I am concerned that there may be a small volume of natural chemicals stored in the stomach, which, if ingested regularly over a period of time, may become psychotropic or even lethal. My only real chance is to break out of here and raid any stashes of supplies I can find. However, the evidence against such a move is insurmountable. 1, I have no source of light. 2, I swore to myself I wouldn't leave until I heard human voices outside. 3, the spiders are so tasty. Day 100. From the marks I have been making on the walls and my scribbled diary entries, which in the dark may amount to an illegible scrawl, today is the 100th day of my new life. Over the past month, my edible friends have become more and more aggressive and have swelled in number and size. Yeah, he's putting evolutionary pressure on these things. Whether or not this is a result of my plundering their ecosystem, I am unsure. However, at this rate of growth, they will soon be too large to crawl through the gaps in the walls. For all I know, I could be seeing only the tip of the iceberg. If all fails, and I am never recovered, I hope at least that my study of, and indeed involvement with, these fascinating creatures will one day be regarded as an important point in natural history. The greatest names in modern science got there more through fluke than talent, and it appears that this rule has extended itself to my discovery of this delicious new species. I only pray that the second rule deems my breakthrough too insignificant, for all great discoveries tend to consume their inventor. I'm sure he's fine. I think someone's been dragged through here. I've never seen this much blood before. That was my best chance to get some answers. Who else could be down here? Ooh, that is not a human-sized hole. Oh, no. Probably lots of tinned fish of some stripe. There are his boots. Ooh, neat, a key. Yay. I think this is the final note. Day 200. It has been some time since I recorded any findings in relation to the spiders with whom I have shared my existence for the past 8 months, partly due to my enforced retreat from their basement territory. Not too long ago, their behavior became overtly aggressive, and so I have attempted to barricade the main entrance to their lair and secured myself within one of the smaller rooms above it, the only one with an operational door lock. The other reason is that I have been recovering from a minor operation, which I was forced to conduct myself without the aid of anesthetic. Even if I did have any anesthetic or surgical tools, I couldn't afford to be less than diligent in my work, so anesthetic was out. Surgical tools are all well and good, but although it may be becoming old and rusty, I still trust my penknife to do the job just as well. The procedure itself was elementary enough. A simple amputation of a non-vital organ. Oh, so like an appendectomy or something, okay. I began to notice a thick, glue-like substance forming on my tongue and was forced to accept that it had become infected through constant toxin ingestion. Oh. I demand that substance back. It belongs to me. Day 300. Another century of days comes and goes. It seems like so long since I escaped here. At some stage since my last entry, I attempted to return from whence I came. That from which I originally was fleeing seems a fate far worse than the one I now face. However, in the time since I arrived from the larger mine system, a cave-in has occurred, blocking any further progress. I was forced to return and accept whatever life has in store for me. I still hear my aggressive little friends scratching on the door to my cell. Sorry, if I was voicing this guy like he would actually be voiced out. Because he cut out his tongue, you see. He kept the tongue because of, nostalgic reasons. Let's see here. This has a paperweight of sorts. Well, I guess paperweight would be... Yeah, there you are. That's much better. Maybe an animal tongue. Keep telling yourself that, Phillip. Oh, and here's the dissection. Nifty. So, what have we learned? We got a story, and we also got a key. Neat. Okay, There's a system that you don't tend to run into too much, which is the panic system. So if you are hiding and you look directly at one of the monsters, who am I kidding? If you look at one of the dogs, because it's the only kind of monster you see, then you lose your composure and they start coming after you. Also, if they get too close to you, then you panic. But okay, he's over there to my right. Also note I found a locked door in the middle of the mine, so... Okay. I can make things slightly easier for myself. Very slightly easier for myself by doing that. Let's take this big old barrel of TNT and nestle it into the cave-in. I love my workshop. It is too great a hunting ground to let others gorge their faces. One cannot help but feel for those without such mousy morsels on which to munch. For Red ate ravenously of their flesh today, and shall continue to do so. This is possible thanks solely to the button pad I installed on the door. And yet, Red's mind is working somewhat backwards today. Red, you need to get more subtle. 2, 1, 4, 8. 8, 4, 1, 2. Zach says, get it, get it, get it. Yes. So that's the key to the workshop. Has Doggo broken through the door? Oh, maybe. He sounds really close. Oh my god, he sounds so close, guys. Okay, easy enough. 8, 4, 1, 2. Beer tastes good. All right. So I have some work to do in here. skitter, 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 skitter. These must be tied to what's going on here. If I keep experimenting, I may discover something useful, or have a heart attack. Something is certainly under those rocks. That something is a good weapon, a much better weapon than my hammer. Pickaxe. Oh, I forgot that batteries were limited in this. I always end up with too many flares, though, so that's fine. That will probably end up being useful, as well as those planks. Okay, so this is our concern, dude. I need to get over this electrified barricade. Just give me everything you got. Can I move this barrel? Yay, I can. Ugh, I can't move it that way. I guess you can't pick up something that you're standing on. Oh, that plank is just painted on. No. No. I think they were too far apart. I don't know if what I'm doing is strictly necessary. I think that with those boxes and with these planks, it would be easy enough to get over. I just had never done it this way. And that seems like a fun thing to try. All right. For certain definitions of fun. Yay! Woohoo! Sorry, I thought song 2 would play if I did that. It'll be hilarious if I accidentally touch that, then all this work gets reset. Oh, fuck. Well, it wasn't instant death. All right, let's see here. Oh no. Well, shit. Oh, I never noticed that before. You could pull the battery off of its leads. Nice. I always just try to get back over it. What do we have? Are those the cherry bombs that they made against policy? Shit, where do I get the string? What am I missing? So I think this said something about it being a box of string. I don't know that I could... I don't know that it'll let me pick up a string until I get the manual that tells me how to make a fuse. A Bandit Rain is curious what other games I would compare this to. It's very strange because of its reliance on physics, right? Frictional... They didn't create a genre, they popularized one, starting with these, and then going on to Amnesia. But oh, fuck. You didn't see... Oh, you saw... Oh, no, you saw me. Oh, you saw me. Amnesia eschews a lot of the stuff that makes this weird, but then again, so does Black Plague, the game that comes after Overture here in the series. So, it's tough. I don't think I have a satisfying answer for you. There we go. Oh. I just missed it. So this is a note from the Copenhagen Post, 1930. Psychotropic deposits at the bottom of Death Mine? Researchers at the University of Copenhagen have suggested that mind-altering chemicals naturally sewn into the rock may be the cause of high suicide rates at a Greenland mine. The university, which has recently been conducting studies into isolated communities, first became interested in the workers at the northwestern lead mine last year. They discovered that even taking into account Greenland's naturally higher suicide rate, local figures for the last 100 years were abnormally high at 46 deaths per 100,000, compared to the national average of 29. So about half again. Yeah, half again over. On further investigation, experts diagnosed in many of the miners symptoms in common with the earlier stages of paranoid schizophrenia. This has prompted researchers to hypothesize that natural deposits of lysergic acid, a pH4 formula recently discovered to have hallucinogenic properties, may be present in the rocks. Few locals were conducive to interview, but those who agreed to speak had their own explanations. Inuit spirits, known as the Turngale, live in the mountains. The university is awaiting the results of chemical testing, and studies continue. Hey there, Milkshakes. Milkshakes asks if there's any plan to make a Hex Crank podcast, like Watch Out for Fireballs, but with only horror games. Not necessarily right now, just because I already do a lot of podcasts, and I've restarted the Hex Crank blog, and I like doing these streams to do something different. However, I feel like I'm log rolling here. The Patreon, at a certain tier, you get audio readings of my retrospectives. Those articles that I write. Uh-oh, panicking. But yeah, in terms of like an extemporaneous discussion kind of thing, I already schedule a lot with other people, and it is nice to have a solo and contemplative project. So right now, Hex Crank is just kind of just going to be me. I appreciate that you want it and why you want it. It's just not in the cards. I thought about it though. I just Like I said, I do a lot of podcasts. It's nice to write. It's nice to stream. It's nice to record and edit video. Like, all of those are enjoyable things that I like doing. So selfishly, some of this is just for me. What in the... Fuck me! Seriously? I got the diary and I got the key, but I didn't know... But I didn't open the chest with the key. I was too busy answering Milkshake's question. Why have you done this, Milkshakes? You've undone me. And I can outrun that. Pro gamer status revoked. I'm a space case today. I went to the discount drug mart. A box of stream back at that workshop. Okay. I went to like a grocery store to get beer. I left my ding dang. I left my ding dang ID in my ding dang office. So I had to go to the drive-through beer store to get beer. Where weirdly enough, they do not ID you. Well, they don't ID me because I look old as fuck. But they're less stringent. They're less stringent about handing you cold beer in your car than warm beer at a grocery store. Milkshake asked, what was the beer of choice? It is the Great Lakes Blackout Stout is what I am having. It is an Imperial Stout from sunny Cleveland, Ohio. Snowy Cleveland, Ohio right now. The explosive manual is not necessarily interesting enough to read. It's just very interesting that it serves as just a constant companion and helps you solve a lot of problems in this game. So I've got to make a fuse for that TNT. Yeah, Zombie Chocobo says anytime they pay for something in cash, they almost always walk away before they get the change. Whenever I pay for something with my credit card, and it involves handing the card over to the cashier, I always put my wallet away before I get my card back. Milkshakes asks if I have watched the second season of Castlevania. No, my television watching this past week or two since that came out has been spent watching season 3 of The Good Place, getting caught up on The Good Place, and then watching season 3 of The Good Place. But yeah, I'll probably check out Castlevania here soon. Okay, I've got my fuse, and I can go use that to blow out the cave-in. And Zombie Chocobo is recommending Haunting at Hill House. Yeah, I need to do that because I love that short story so much. Okay, gotta run. Ruh-roh. How did that dog not... Wait, was the dog just brought in by the explosion? Yeah. In we go. When I look back, I can't think what spurred me to go deeper into the mine. Perhaps it was arrogance at still being alive, or something as ridiculous as facing adversity and coming out on top. Now, I know I would have been better off starving, or being mauled to death, than kickstarting the chain of events that led me to end up here writing to you. I just hope, once you understand my story, you will have what's necessary to put an end to this tale. I certainly didn't. Open up a new beer, one moment. Yes, when I bought my new desk, I bought a little bottle opener to put onto the bottom of it. Okay, we're into chapter 2. And here we're going to meet a friend. This game is going to be less lonely now. Okay, there's the power room. That rock fall almost sounded organic, like the rock screaming, asking if you could smell what it was cooking. Okay, so the power is out right now. Just like everything else down here, it's old and decaying and not working. Okay, 12th of January, 1972. Boys, I'd come have a word with you myself, but I've got more important things to do than piss about making sure you're all doing your jobs properly. Now, I know there's a certain amount of camaraderie between you lot, playing pranks and jokes on each other. It comes with the territory, and that's fine, so long as you don't add me to your list. God knows you need something to keep you entertained down here. However, you all know full well that Penrose has some very deep-seated issues with his height. So anyone who thought it'd be a good idea to sabotage his generator, then hide all the spare fuses on the top shelf in the storeroom, would quite clearly need your head examined. Do you get me? These dipshits. In other news, Jones, I want that inventory done yesterday. And the rest of you, it's not all fun and games, you hear? On a serious note, another radio's gone missing, and you'd better hope to God that that means one of you lost it, because stealing ain't a pretty word in my book. It's the third one this month. which means the amnesty is coming. The amnesty on Coming Clean is fast coming to a close. And then there'll be repercussions. Got it? What's strange is you're all supposed to be working on in pairs, so nobody should be able to get their hands on a radio without the other spotting it. When I find out who's responsible, I'm going to find out how they got away with it so long, and I'm going to fling them out into the snow and leave them there. They'll just disappear into the night, just like all those radios. Grim. Yeah, spare radio parts. So that code is significant. Let's go into the storeroom, because we're going to have to get that generator back online. Okay, these emergency procedures, the code sheet is used, etc. Ensure the stability of surrounding environment by tapping on the rock. Yeah, it's like, hey, if you're trapped, just tap on the wall of the cave in this Morse code. Rather than decode that, I just have my notes from I have my notes from when we did Watch Out for Fireballs. So you don't have to listen to me decode Morse code beeps and boops. Oh. I didn't realize Phillip's an itty bitty boy. Did I get the battery? Okay, you had to go bring the generator online. It's a fun little puzzle. Okay. It feels as if I'm leaving my body for a moment, but not just hovering around. It's like I go someplace. What are these things? One moment. Oh. Excuse me. So that is the generator. Here are the steps I need to take to bring it back online. Ensure the area is clear around it. Confirm secondary flow by turning the appropriate valves. Turn on the cooling system to avoid overheating. Release excess steam until pressure is within safe limits. Begin grease flow, ensuring leakage is minimal. Turn the main valve and confirm primary flow. Pull main operation lever. Check the energy output. Easy enough. Blind experimentation achieves nothing, the game says. Okay, I need a battery for the starter. And this box has batteries in it. So let's put it into this OSHA-approved pit. Oh, wait. There we go. Eight steps. Have you tried unplugging it, then plugging it back in? Says a bandit reigns. I just want to see what happens if I do this. Okay, so let's check the fuse box. Okay, we have we have a handful of valves here. They're not so much labeled as they've got these plaques. However, some of them are just glyphs. So there's 1, 2, sideways squiggles, oil, and then upward squiggles. Sideways squiggles is water. Upways squiggles is steam. Let me check this again. Blah, blah, blah. Connected, confirm secondary flow by turning the appropriate valve. So secondary is probably the 2. Turn on the cooling system. It's probably the water. So 2 water, release the steam. 2 water, steam, oil. That's the grease flow. Main valve. 2 water, steam, oil. 1. All right. Yay! The turbine looks a little wobbly, but that is not my problem. Okay, things are looking a little bit more homey now. And now we're gonna meet Red.
Good day. Good day, can you hear me? Well, I hope that your ears are working better than your tongue, so that you might use them to listen to my words. You have turned on the light at the end, beginning, and middle of the tunnel, but some things remain shrouded in darkness. My mercy message I hope has helped, but what you need now is to the wall hole to the right of the fence. Oh, go now, there is no time to explain. Well, in fact, time is one of the few things we have in abundance down here. What surprises are spoiled by such catty curiosity.
Red is MVP. So he mentions leaving a message in Morse. Yeah. I could go back and decode that using the sheet, but I can just do this. 5, 7, 3, 8. And release that dog right into me. Here he comes. Parkour.
My memory is like something with a great many small holes. We shall be needing to perform some minor demolition work so that we might one day meet again. For this task, we shall require the use of a large, earth-eating metal monster, and that monster is thirsty for juice from the place where things are kept. By the way, you can call me Red.
Juice from the place
it's
where
not my
things
name, you understand, but I'm sure you will agree it's a name rather similar to a cardigan. Fetching when worn correctly.
Uh-oh. So, I fought back. Yay! Alright, so he said the thing I needed was through the hole to the right. We missed some dialogue there, but he said the way forward can be opened by a machine that eats earth, and it needs juice from the place where things are kept. Red is not his actual name, but it fits him like a cardigan. Scratchy, but warm. Come on. Liam Neeson's. Okay. The door is barricaded. I need a saw to cut that board. Let's see here. Xeno Report 66B, Phase 9, NO 9002, or 1992. Filed by the Chief Attending Xeno Officer. Leader. Unlike the other findings, 66B appears to be of manufactured rather than natural origin, and so warrants additional interest, and, need I say, security. The bulk of Substance 63 was discovered only 6 yards from where Artifact 66B was buried, and appears, at least in part, to consist of a solidified form of 63, with a number of operable appendages. The artifact emits a low level of light from a seemingly inexhaustible energy supply, suggesting its origin is indeed as was suspected. Of course, the ramifications of this fact are clear, and appropriate measures are already being taken. Progress in becoming enlightened as to the purpose of the device, if indeed it served a purpose in the traditional sense at all, has been slow. Following protocol to the letter, I assigned my secondary officer to the artifact on Phase 7, only for him to go missing the following day. He eventually returned to the site from a previously uncharted area of the mines, presumably having discovered a new route, avoiding the cave-ins. At this stage, we can only assume what transpired, since he remains in a state of disorientation. Far be it for me to question the decisions of the elevated caste, but I am struggling to understand the necessity of conducting standard scientific testing in this case. I, of course, have full faith in the abilities of the research team, but I lost my place again. Shit. I, of course, have full faith in the abilities of the research team put together and sent here by my immediate superior. I simply wonder whether their time might be better employed at the main site. Nevertheless, it is comforting to know that the actions of every member of the organization are carefully choreographed and controlled by those far outranking myself, both in stature and wisdom. And with this in mind, I feel fully justified in filing an official request for further manpower. We have already lost a number of workers to unforeseen events, largely while engaging in the studies mentioned earlier, and further investigation of the area calls for volunteers to carry out tasks altogether too hazardous in nature to risk the well-being of more elevated organization members. In particular, the tunnel system above the secondary site requires immediate cartography. Elevated caste, the Xeno team? Okay, so I've got a saw, which is good. I wonder what happens if you go there before you have the go juice. Hey there, lo-fi nerd. Oh, shit. Oh. And I'm down. You don't get to run. You do get to call for help, though. I can't really stop that. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, so I've opened the way further into the mine. But I don't have the fuel necessary to power this device, so I need to go back through. From out the door rises something vast, something terrible. It strikes a man, knocking him down, and those standing by him wither into the darkness. Screaming beggings still farther Still, Father looks on. Is he bringing this? Father, what have you done? Okay, nothing I can do in here until I get the go juice, so... So the nice part is, you really only need to use the health recovery items in an emergency. Because your health otherwise just recovers naturally by walking around. Uh-oh, I'm lost. Okay, so I need to go to the place where things are kept. And I think I've taken care of all the dogs down here. I'm mostly saying that so the next dog will make itself known right now, right after I say that. See? See that? Oh, you're far away.
Those holes in my mind are increasingly gaping. You cannot breach the inner sanctum of the place of storing. The entryway is blocked. So what if the squashy material between my ears is squashier than most? I may not be perfect like a hanging picture, but my words are wise and backed up by time. A pox on both your brain cells. Try as I may, you must think that I deceive you with my admittingly cunning ways. As far as my eye has seen, our rocky grave extends, and yet you cast away my help like you would a puppy, freshly rolled in its own feces. I hope that your warped sense of morality is better company than I, because now it is all you have left.
Red is so good.
I'm sorry. Sometimes my emotions are like a disobedient pet. Uncontrollable and often rolling in shit. Better safe than sorry, they say. But I think we are both sorrier than we are safe. A tunnel lies between a nearby watery cave and the place where things are kept. Take the second right from the closed door, and you will find what you seek.
So, Numeric asks how I play these games. Original hardware or GOG or something. Yeah, this copy's on Steam. I think I got it back in one of the first Humble Bundles. Yeah, so this just runs on PC. If I play something on console, I I like using original hardware, not for like any kind of like snobby authenticity reasons or whatever, but because of stability reasons. What I don't want to have happen is for their me. What I don't want to have happen is to be in the middle of a stream and have a glitch drop me out, or have like controllers be weird. I've used emulators for so many different games doing things like Abject Suffering that I get real gun shy about depending on it for a long time. depending on emulators, for a long time. So, original hardware, if possible. That includes doing something like playing a PS1 game on the PlayStation. You know, PSN releases and stuff are really good because so many good horror games are on the PlayStation and available, you know, from PSN. But yeah, no, for streaming, I use a program called XSplit. I have found that that's more stable than OBS. It captures audio and video from a PC natively just fine. And for streaming stuff on consoles, I've got a little box. It's called a Razer Ripsaw. It lets me bring in HDMI and component audio and video.
Those holes in my mind are increasingly gaping. You cannot breach the inner sanctum of the place of storing. The entryway is blocked. So what if the squashy material between my ears is squashier than most? I may not be perfect like a hanging picture, but my words are wise and backed up by time. A pox on both your brain cells. Try as I may, you must think that I deceive you with my admittingly cunning ways. As far as my eye has seen, our rocky grave extends, and yet you cast away my help like you would a puppy freshly rolled in its own feces. I hope that your warped sense of morality is better company than I, because now it is all you have left. I'm sorry. Sometimes my emotions are like a disobedient pet. Uncontrollable and often rolling in shit. Better safe than sorry, they say. But I think we are both sorrier than we are safe. A tunnel lies between a nearby watery cave and the place where things are kept. Take the second right from the closed door, and you will find what you seek.
Okay, let's go do some intense spider stuff. Eric, you may wish to avert your eyes after I give you the final warning. Here is a more recent excavation site. Okay, that is the tunnel to the storeroom. The man still clutching, looking for what? Before him lies metal, jutting awkward from earth. A hatch, a portal, a hole, a door. Unfamiliar text. Who are these figures huddling around? What secrets are hidden behind the faces of men? Okay. Test substance continues to defy identification. Both chemical and xeno investigations fail to produce meaningful results. A whole bunch of tests here. Standard hallucinogenics and stuff. Human hallucinogenics incomplete. Testing of the gaseous fog has been considerably more successful. It appears to be a harmless blend of sulfur, chlorine, and aromatic amine, which gives it the floating visual effect. Please note that harmless here is used in the xenochemics sense. It is harmless insofar as we have identified it, and so can take the necessary safety measures. If directly ingested, it would naturally be lethal. Work continues on the issue of transporting the substance. So far, removing it from the dormant location causes its base state to radically change, producing massive heat to the detriment of all the three workers, one of whom is no longer operational due to his injuries. No longer operational. Yeah. Oh, wow. Jackie Blaze, in talking about stability and playing stuff on the original hardware, Jackie Blaze is talking about, I guess, the PS4 version of Amnesia: The Dark Descent has a glitch where you... where the floor will vanish beneath you if you try and walk backwards. Is it a visual effect? Like, I mean, or do you just fall through the floor? Huh. Yeah, that sucks. Oh, you fall through. And it's like an endless pit. That is unacceptable. Yeah, you fall through the floor and it's like an endless pit. Ah, dingus. I overshot it. Oh, you know what? Somebody before asked me what game this reminds me of. Trespasser. I know that's not a flattering comparison, but yeah. Okay. Let's descend into the heart of madness. Okay. No choice but to move on. My god, nothing lays eggs this big. They're leathery, so it can't be mammalian. More likely amphibious or insectoid. I really don't like the way that they're moving. Excuse me. So yeah, this is it's an action sequence. I gotta stop them spiders. Oh yeah, this is your warning, Eric. Oh shit, I lit myself on fire. So these spiders are fucking awful. Oh no, as I'm about to find out. Oh man. Whoa, so many of them. Okay. So yeah, this requires a measure of trial and error. I mostly just goofed him up. What? What happened? I hate dying and not knowing why. Barely see the paraffins in my eyes.
Now you should find yourself in a watery cave of conversation space, with a tunnel above you from times ahead. In this tunnel, for both our sakes, be careful, not curious. I have already spoken to you about the cat, and repeating myself is not only out of the question, but out of the window and climbing down the guttering. There are spiders in the tunnels that love to suck on the humany fluids, so do not disturb the walls. They are fragile like the china vase in the hooves of the bull.
Okay, we got ourselves a boulder. Yeah, if I didn't do all that stuff on the way down, I would have so many spiders on my tail that I would not survive. When I played this for WAF most recently, I got caught in like a 20-minute death loop in that sequence, right after the boulder fall.
There should be some insect repellent in that red and white cross box in that room, just in case those spiders found your flesh delicious. How does my brain flesh know your fluids are leaking? Because the red tricked you. The spidery tunnel was far from a necessary evil. More so, it served as a well-deserved punishment. You thought my mind had been lost to the ravages of time, but poetic justice has struck with a sonnet and an eight-legged baptism of fire. With justice now served cold, I hope that we can be good friends. Now reclaim the key and go juice, and find a way to the mining monster.
He seems cool. Oh, I'm back in the main hall. So I'm looking for go-go juice, which is gasoline. Let's see here. There's something I need up there. Let's play a crane game. Okay, this will ultimately be important. Inuit Mythology Christian Foresight, first published in 1903. Over the past 100 years, our people has seen something of a religious revelation. The Kalaallit, and Inuit in general, might have said to have seen the error of our ways, and Christianity has become increasingly embraced throughout the Arctic communities. It is the purpose of this paper to explore the true roots of our long-held beliefs and to uncover how they might be justified today in our newfound enlightenment. As such, this essay will be the first I have written in English, as opposed to our native Kalaalleq. Animate. It is no coincidence that the word amok bears resemblance to the English word angel. The Animate are the Inuit equivalent of the soul, an undying entity released in the death of its worldly body. The concept itself is obviously well grounded in decent Christian belief. However, previous thought has been blasphemous to the extent that souls are attributed to all beings, man or beast. To claim such a thing would be to imply that killing of a beast for food is the same as the murder of your fellow man. And such a belief simply cannot be held by the civilized Inuit. Turngate. Legend speaks of disembodied spirits, malicious in nature, sabotaging tools, turning hunts bad, and at times even possessing the weak or unfortunate. A Turngok appears to have no recognized or agreed origin, both in terms of the legend itself and the individual being, causing great doubt to be entirely justifiable. Can we, in our Christian foresight, really believe in possessions and evil spirits? It seems perfectly clear to this writer that the real origin of the Turngate belief lies in the Christian demons. For, as we are taught by the generous and selfless Moravian Church, without whose support our people would, no doubt, have starved many years ago, the demon is capable of possession and of countless other atrocities, which only the good Christian man can avoid through a lifetime of humility and devotion. Angakuit. With the conclusions reached above, the status of the cherished Angakuk, the tribe shaman, should be obvious. Such people are in league with the Turngate demons, working side by side to control and contain the Kalaallit people. We have no need for such superstition and suspicion breeding people in our Christian ways. The Protestant priest can perform all of the Angakuit's duties, and more beside. God. The final challenge of a work such as this should be to find the nature of the Christian God, and to ask why he has not been present for so many years of Inuit belief until recently. The Inuit people wrongly attributed the Animate, almost godlike status in certain cases, and treated the Turngate as the devil incarnate. It is no major leap of faith to suggest that such beliefs have been underpinned by a central concern that there has been something missing in Inuit life, That something is, indubitably, God. I hope that my findings have informed and enlightened the atheistic few that remain in Inuit culture, and ask the Lord Jesus Christ to redeem their souls. So, remember the turn gate. The demons and possession and stuff. It's not going to factor in too heavily here, but boy does it in the next one. Hi there, Ravelord Nito. I enjoy your name. So I'm trying to get to that door up there. Okay, this got me out behind that gas leak. Am I trying too hard? Oh, man. Yeah, that's not going to do shit. Nah. Easy enough. Now I have the go-go juice. Okay, it should be... Oh, there are more dogs out. I wonder to whom I can assign the blame of such canines as these. Whom? To whom? To whom? course it's gonna be in my way. Ah, fuck. Can't believe you've done this. Portals! Alright. Okay, this is dumb. It says the lid on the gas cap is rusted shut. Oh, okay. Fuck me. The lid on the gas can is rusted shut. Here we go. Okay. As my new friend might say, drink, you thirsty beast.
You seek to find the truth behind all this mystery, and think it will set you free. But truth is relative, and relatives cannot be trusted to bring good gifts. What you seek lies in the shafts beyond this collapsing of the sky, and if you look closely, so do I. A century of days has passed since I saw this area last. The diseased ones sought to kill poor Red, but I took them on a wild poultry chase. They ended dead. They came from out the big metal door, but after all my years, I knew the cave's door. Hide and seek turned to seek and hide, and I buried them here beneath the solid rock sky.
I led them on a wild poultry chase and they ended dead. There's a key that I need that I don't have. Okay, back I go. Back to storage, I believe. I need a key for the control panel. Okay. I'm positive that what I need is in here. Haha. Okay, good. I just missed this room in my initial search. Meh. They always start in the same place, and they always head directly to the corner that I need them to go, that I need to get to. If you attack one... Uh-oh! You can't really take them out when they're in pairs. You can, but you'll take a lot of damage because they go and they howl when they are hurt enough, and that summons help. That digger's running might be the most reassuring sound Phillip has heard in his entire life. Easy enough. Ah, dang it, I missed the heart container. Zach says, really, it's a game about finding different ways to destroy rocks. It seems so strange now to have been guided like a blind man by a faceless stranger whose sanity was clearly waning, disposition unknown. For all I knew, this Red didn't even have a disposition to speak of, just a seething mass of conflicting emotions. I knew that my radio-reliant friend must have been cocooned nearby, and perhaps in finding him, I would find myself one step closer to understanding what was going on. In just a couple of hours, I would find what I was looking for, and with it would come answers. I didn't realize at the time, but the answers I found would be for questions that I hadn't even asked. I'm going to do the beginning part of this chapter because it's a cool little action scene to end on, and then I'm going to finish up for the night and beat the game tomorrow. Just going to walk through this door. Uh-oh, worm. Worm. Okay. I was trying to get a good look at it so you wouldn't just see me running from some unknown loud thing. So we're going to have to deal with that later. And we are at chapter 3 of 4. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Please consider going to patreon.com/hexcrank to support these streams and the retrospectives and stuff. New one is on its way. Otherwise, follow and subscribe here on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful night. I'll be back tomorrow night with the rest of Penumbra Overture. And then I'm going to go on and play Black Plague and Requiem because I want to see this story to the end. Okay. Take care. Bye.